can't look for it outside yourself. A person is their own shining star. The one who is true and honest inside becomes the master of their own destiny. For them, nothing ever happens too early or too late. Our actions are like our good or bad angels, always walking with us like shadows. Leave a small child in tough situations. Let them grow up among wild animals. Let them live with eagles and foxes. Then watch how lightning fast and incredibly strong their hands and feet become. A few days ago, I read some lines written by a famous painter. He was talking about imitation. It wasn't fake at all. It was completely real. Whenever we read something like this, our heart learns a lesson. The biggest thing is to fully trust your own thinking. What's true in your heart is true for the whole world. That's real wisdom. Speak up bravely about what's buried inside you. That very thing will help everyone someday. Great people like Moses and Plato became great because they didn't carry about old books or traditions. They just said what came from their own minds. We should pay attention to that light inside us. The real shine comes from within. Often, we dismiss our own thoughts as worthless just because they're yours. But when we see the work of a great artist, we realize that it's just the same old ideas we once had. Then, we regret not trusting ourselves earlier. So stand firm on your beliefs, even if the whole world is shouting against you. Otherwise, someday a stranger will say exactly what you always thought, and you'll feel embarrassed hearing your own thoughts from someone else. Everyone reaches a point in life when they finally understand something really important. The point is that being jealous of others is foolish, and copying others is like destroying yourself. You have to accept yourself as you are, whether good or bad. The whole world might be full of good things, but a person won't get even a single grain of food unless they work hard on their own land. The strength inside you is completely new. No one else knows what you're capable of, and you won't realize it yourself until you try. It's not pointless that we have one face, or one thing feels really good and another doesn't. It's all decided beforehand. Our eyes only see what we are truly meant to see. The truth is, we never share everything we really feel. We hesitate to bring out that special idea God has planted inside us. If we speak honestly and fully, the result will always be good. But God doesn't get his work done through scared people. When someone puts their whole heart into their work and does their best, that's when they find real peace and happiness. But those who work grudgingly, you'll never find peace. Your own mind lets you down, and you don't see any hope. That's why you've got to trust yourself. Every person's heart beats to this truth. Wherever you are today, and whoever you're with, accept it wholeheartedly. Great people have always done this. They trusted the voice of their heart like a child. They believed that the strength in their heart is what moves their hands to work. Now that we're grown up, we should walk this higher path too. We shouldn't hide away like a sick or helpless person in some corner. We shouldn't just back down. We can't be cowards running away from problems. Instead, we need tobe guides and helpers for others, moving forward. We should listen to the one in charge and keep pushing to eliminate darkness and chaos. Nature teaches us big lessons through the behavior of little kids and animals. Our minds are often split in two, making us doubt ourselves. We start calculating what's right and what's wrong. But that's not how it is with kids. Their minds are completely clear. When we look at their faces, sometimes we get a bit stressed because they don't follow anyone's rules. Instead, we all end up following theirs. A little kid can easily make 4 or 5 adults around him play and say crazy things. God has given youth a special kind of sparkle and strength. If a young guy isn't talking to you, don't think's weak. Just go to the next room and listen. He talks to his friends in such a clear and powerful voice. He knows exactly what to say to people his age. Even if he's shy, whether brave or not, he makes us realize that he doesn't really need us. Look at those guys who know they'll get food anyway. They live carefree like some noblemen. They don't say unnecessary things just to please someone. That's the real and healthy way a person should be. A guy is like that free spectator who sits in the corner, watching everyone come and go. He quickly decides who's good, who's bad, who's funny, and who's foolish. He doesn't care what the outcome will be. You have to convince him it happens. He doesn't come to convince you. But a great man ends up trapped in his own prison of thoughts. As soon as he does something big or famous, 100 people start watching him. Now he has to care about what people like or hate. He loses his freedom. I wish he could be carefree like Thatcheld again. A person who speaks his mind without taking sides and without fear is very powerful. His words will hit people's ears like arrows, and the world will start fearing him because he only speaks the truth. These are the voices we hear in solitude. You can hear them. But as soon as we step out into the world, those voices slowly start to fade away. Society is always scheming against its own people's courage and self-identity. Society is like a company where people give up their freedom just to secure their livelihood. The most important thing here is to be the same as everyone else. Society absolutely hates people who trust themselves. It doesn't care about the truth. It's just in love with old names and traditions. Anyone who wants to be a real person has to walk their own path, separate from the crowd. If you want to do great things, don't just stop at what sounds good or right. You need to really check and question whether what you're doing is truly good. In the end, the truth in your own heart is the most sacred thing. Just prove to yourself that you're doing the right thing. Then the whole world will back you up. I remember when I was a kid, one of my older mentors kept pushing me to believe in the old church traditions. I told him, what do I have to do with these old customs? I live by listening to hats inside me. My friend said, but who knows? Maybe what's coming from inside you is God. Not on anyone's side, but on some devil's side. I said, if I'm the devil's kid, then I'll live by the devil's rules. For me, nothing is holier than the laws made by nature. Good and bad are just labels people change whenever it suits them. What's right for me is whatever feels true to my nature or soul, and what's wrong is whatever goes against it. A person should stand firm against every opposition like they're the only real thing, and everything else is just a name, temporary and fleeting. It embarrasses me to think that people give in so quickly to big names, big companies, and old traditions. If someone dresses well and talks nicely, they end up changing me way more than necessary. I should be straightforward and strong and always speak the hard truth, no matter what. If a bad person puts on the cloak of charity and good deeds, does that mean we should accept them as good? If an angry person comes to me and talks about the welfare of people thousands of miles away, I'd tell them to go music and first love their own child, love the woodcutters. Be good and straightforward. Don't cover up your bitterness and bad intentions with fake love for people far away. Your distant love is really just a way to hide the hatred at home. It might sound a bit harsh, but the truth is always way more beautiful than fake, showy love. Your goodness needs to have some edge or firmness, otherwise it's useless. When people just cry and complain in the name of love, it becomes important to talk about hatred too. When the voice inside me calls, I even leave behind my parents, wife, and brother. I'll write my way right on my front door. I hope it means something more than just doing whatever I want. But I can't spend the whole day explaining myself to everyone. Don't expect me to justify every little thing, who I meet and who I don't. Today, a decent man told me I should help all the poor and get them involved in good work. I asked him, are they my poor? I even hesitate to give a single rupee to people I don't have any personal connection with. There are some people for whom I'd even go tajal. I'm ready because I have a deep connection with them. But I don't like pointless, showy donations, wasting money on foolish education, or giving money to drunks. Sometimes, out of shame, I end up giving money. That's just bad money. Soon, I'll gather enough courage to stop wasting money on such useless things. Ordinary people often see good habits as something unusual, not as daily routines. It feels like people do good deeds or donate just so they don't have to pay for their mistakes. Their good deeds are like a way to excuse themselves. It's like they have to pay some price just to live in this world. Their goodness feels more like a punishment. But I wasn't born to apologize. I was born to live openly. My life is for me, not for show. I'd rather have a real, straightforward life than a fake, shaky one. I want my life to be strong and sweet from within, not something that needs constant fixing. I don't care whether people call my actions good or bad. I'm not into any of that. I don't want to pay money or a price for a right that's rightfully mine. I may not have many qualities, but what I am is real, and I don't owe anyone proof. What matters most to me is doing what I'm supposed to do, not what others think I should do. It's easy to say this, but really hard to live by it. It's way easier to follow the crowd. When you're alone, it's easier to listen to your own heart. But a truly great person is someone who, even surrounded by a crowd, lovingly holds on to their freedom to be themselves, believing in such old values, things that have become useless to you now. They drain your strength. They waste your time and blur your true identity. If you're attached to a religion or community you no longer believe in, or if you vote for a party just because everyone else is, it becomes really hard to see the real person behind all the masks. This weakens your own life's power. Just focus on doing your own thing. Only then will the world see the real you. Doing your own thing will give you inner strength. Following the crowd like a game of hide and seek. If I already know which group you belong to, I can guess what you're going to say next. Like a priest who only says what his church allows him to say. He'll never speak his own honest thoughts. He's like a hired lawyer who only argues their side. Honestly, most people have blinders on and are stuck thinking like their group. Following the crowd like that makes a person completely dishonest. Nothing they say is ever fully true. Even their 2 and 4 aren't real either. Listening to them makes us feel bad because we don't know where to start fixing them. Gradually, nature puts on us the same prison uniform as the group we belong to. Our face and the way we live become the same, and we start to look a bit foolish. It feels worst when we're at a gathering with such people where we don't feel comfortable. There, we have to force a smile on our face. We have to smile at things we're not interested in. Because of this, our faces tense up, and we feel really weird and bad. If you walk differently from the crowd, the world tries to punish you with its anger. People on the streets or in someone's home give you strange looks, but there's no real reason behind their anger. Their anger changes like the news or the weather. It's easier to deal with anger from educated and older people because deep down, they're a bit scared. But when ordinary folks and those who don't know much start getting angry and making noise, to handle this, you've got to have a big heart. You need to just brush off their words like they're nothing. Another thing that stops us from trusting ourselves is that we always want to look the same. We're scared that whatever we said or did yesterday, we'll have to do the same today. We think people only know us by what we said before, so we don't want to upset them. But why do you keep looking back? Why carry around the dead weight of old memories? Just make sure you don't end up contradicting your old words. So what if you change your mind? Being smart means not relying solely on your memory. Reevaluate your old thoughts based on the present and treat each day like a fresh start. If your heart's telling you something new today, leave your old mindset behind and move forward. Stubbornly sticking to one point without thinking is a signal, a narrow mind. Small-minded people, like petty leaders and so-called experts, love that. But a great person doesn't care about that at all. Holding on to old things is as useless as a shadow on the wall. Speak the truth that's in your heart, Tade, with confidence. And when new thoughts come tomorrow, voice them just as strongly, even if they completely contradict what you said before. I think people will think I'm wrong. So what if they do? Being misunderstood isn't such a bad thing. Great people like Socrates, Jesus, Newton, and Galileo were all misunderstood by the world. In fact, being great means people won't easily understand you. No one can go against their true self. Whatever you do shows who you really are. Your character is like a puzzle that reads the same forward sand backwards. I want my thoughts to be as real as the smell of trees and the sounds of the forest. How are is what the world sees. People think they show their goodness or badness only through big actions. But the truth is, a person's true self comes out like a scent in every breath and every little moment. No matter how many different things you do, if they're genuine and natural, then they all, even if they look different from each other, they'll still match because they come from the same mindset. So they'll feel just right. Think of it like a story. A big ship might wobble a bit because of the waves, but if you look at it from far away, it's moving straight toward its destination. Your life is just like that. Every honest thing you do tells its own story. Following the crowd doesn't prove anything. Just listen to your own heart and keep doing your good work. Those old good deeds will show their worth on their own. They'll vouch for you. Greatness cares about the future. If today you're strong enough to do the right thing without worrying about what people think, it means you've already done a lot right before. That's what's giving you strength now. No matter what, just keep doing the right thing. Forget about what others might see. Just stick to your truth. A person's strength builds up slowly. All the goodness from your past turns into the strength you have today. Why do big heroes seem so amazing too? Behind them is days and days of hard work and victories. History is real. That's what brings the glow to their faces and strength to their voices. We respect honor because it's not something that lasts just a day. It's a good, deep-rooted quality that's been there for years. We celebrate it today, not just for the present moment. We love it because it's not a trap talk at anyone, but something that stands on its own, always clear and true. I hope this is the last time we hear about copying others and always looking the same. From now on, those words should seem pointless and laughable to us. Now, we don't need soft, polite tones like a dinner bell. We need strong voices from strong people. It's time we stop bending over backwards or apologizing for everything. Just think, if some big shot came to my house for a meal, I wouldn't try to please him. I'd want him to try to please me. I stand for all of humanity. I may get along with everyone, but I'll always be real and honest. Let's leave behind thistliness and fake contentment today. Let's hit hard with the truth on old customs, business, and offices. Wherever someone truly puts their heart into something, wherever someone works, there's always a big thinker and doer present. A true person isn't a slavito, any one time or place. They are the center of everything. Wherever they stand, that's where nature reigns. They measure other people and every event by their own standards. Usually, everyone in society reminds us of someone else. But a true character and realness don't remind you of anyone else. They take the place of the entire world by themselves. A person should be so strong that their surroundings don't affect them at all. Every true person is like an entire country and an entire era within themselves. They need a lot of space and time to complete their work, and generations that follow walk in their footsteps. Like when Caesar was born, the Roman Empire lasted for years after. Jesus Christ was born, and millions began to think like him. Any big institution, any major organization is basically just the long shadow of one person. Just like major changes in religion happened because of Luther. If you look through all of history, you'll see it's all about a few strong and genuine people's lives. It's a simple story. A person should know their own worth and keep everything under their feet. They shouldn't live in this world scared or hiding, like they're some outsider or a kid surviving on scraps. This world is made for them. But what usually happens when an ordinary person sees a tall tower or a statue of a stone god, they feel small and pour in front of it. They feel like the palace or expensive books are asking, "Who do you think you are, man?" But the truth is, all these things are made by people. What's going on here? She's just craving attention. Every beautiful photo waits for my approval. Shekant boss me around. It's me who decides if she deserves praise. There's an old story about a drunk guy passed out on the street. Someone picked him up, took him to a big palace, cleaned him up, and put him to bed in the king's room. When he woke up, everyone treated him like he was really the king. They convinced him he was sick. This story perfectly shows how us humans are. We're just like that drunk guy in this world. Sometimes we wake up, use our common sense, and realize that we're actually true princes. When we're at history, we think like beggars and just admire the great folks. We believe that royalty, power, and huge lands are everything. And the simple life of an ordinary person, their daily work, means nothing. But the truth is, the needs and joys of life are the same for everyone. So why do we bow so much before these big kings? If they were good, did goodness end with them today? Whatever small or big thing you do with your own thinking will be valued just as much as the great deeds of those kings. When ordinary people start working with fresh ideas, all the glitter and glory will shift away from kings and come straight to those good-hearted folks. The world has learned a lot from kings. Kings have always drawn people's attention. People respect big kings or bosses because they follow their own rules. They judge people and things not by other standards, but by their own way of thinking. Actually, when people live freely, even without realizing it, they start recognizing their own strength and rights. So, why should we trust ourselves? What is that power inside us that we can believe in so deeply? It's that old, genuine voice within us that we call intuition, our natural inner knowing. Everything else is just stuff we've learned from outside. When we're completely calm, a power awakens inside us that's connected to light, time, and the whole world. This is the place where all our thoughts and actions come from. We're sitting in the lap of a much greater understanding. Whenever we recognize a truth or justice, we're not really doing anything ourselves. We're just letting the light of that truth shine out from within us. Everyone knows that those sudden thoughts that commito their mind are absolutely true. Even if they can't fully explain them, they know they're as certain as day and night. People who don't think much just brush off these inner voices as simple opinions. They believe we're just seeing things the way we want to. But this deep understanding of the mind isn't some whim. If I've seen a truth today, then tomorrow, my child and the whole world will definitely see it. Because what I've felt is a solid truth, like the sun. The bond between our hearts and God is so real that we don't need anyone's help in between. When God speaks, He's not talking about just one thing, but everything. He fills the whole world with His voice and makes everything new. Whenever someone's heart is pure and they understand God's message, old things and old rules fall away. That person worries neither about tomorrow nor the past. He cries about what happened yesterday. He only lives in today. If someone tells you they know God but then gets stuck talking about old stories or ancient countries, don't believe them. Can a tiny seed be better than the big tree that's already full of fruit and flowers? Is a father bigger than his children? So do we worship old things. Our own soul is the real light. Where it is, there is day. Where it's not, there's dark night. Old stories are only good if they teach us something about ourselves. People taught to live in fear. They're scared. He can't just stand straight and say, "This is what I think," or "This is who I am." Instead, he ends up repeating some old sage's words. He even feels shy in front of a single blade of grass or a blooming rose. Look at the roses outside my window. They don't talk about old roses. They're just as the Aryan living fully in the present with God. For them, time doesn't really exist. A rose is complete and beautiful in every moment, whether it's a tiny bud or a fully bloomed flower. Its strength stays the same all along, but people still don't live in the now. Either he gets sad thinking about old times or gets impatient looking forward to the future. He doesn't notice the happiness around him. A person can't be truly happy and strong until he learns to live in the present, just like these rose flowers. This should be clear. Still, watch how even the wisest people don't dare listen to God's words unless they're spoken through the words of great men from the past. We can't always put so much weight on old books, poems, or the lives of people from long ago. We're like kids who, grandma, or teacher's words are just memorized by kids. As kids grow up and start understanding things on their own, they drop those old-fashioned words. They realize that when needed, they can speak just as well and honestly themselves. If we live truthfully, we'll only see that truth. Just like it's easy for a weak person to be weak, it's easy for a strong person to stay strong. When a new and true thought comes into our mind, we'll happily throw out the junk of old memories. When you live in harmony with God, your voice becomes as sweet as a flowing waterfall and crop swaying in the fields. Here's a big truth that's hard to fully put into words. When something great and good comes your way, it never arrives via an old or familiar path. You won't see anyone else's footprints on that path. That path, that way of thinking, that goodness, it will be completely new and unique for you. No one else's experience will help you there. Fear and hope both seem so small in front of this higher truth, Even hopping feels a bit weak sometimes. When the soul rises above all this, it only sees the truth. Then the mind finds peace knowing everything is perfectly fine. Whether it's a vast ocean or hundreds of years, they don't really matter anymore. What I'm feeling today was true yesterday and will be true tomorrow too. Life is about living today, not just saying that I have lived. The moment we stop, our strength starts to fade. Real strength comes when we let go of the old. Let's stop dwelling on the past and move towards something new. People do like it when our minds keep changing because it makes old, big things and wealth seem useless. Why do we talk about trusting ourselves? Because when our mind awakens, a powerful energy to get things done comes alive inside us. A person who believes in the truth more than I do becomes my master without me even pointing a finger. We often think good habits are just for show, but actually, goodness is a higher state. Those who walk the true path, following nature's laws, can influence cities, countries, and even kings, we leave things behind. In the end, everything comes down to that one power, the biggest force. It stands on its own strength. The truer something is, the more goodness it holds, whether it's business, farming, or giving a speech. That's the strength I see in all of these. The same rule works in nature too. Nature doesn't keep anything around that can't help itself. Whether it's a new star being born or a tree bent by strong wind standing straight again, these all show that every living thing has the ability to take care of itself. We have the power to believe in ourselves. Everything boils down to this. There's no need to wander here and there. We just need to sit with the truth inside us. Let's surprise the world outside, people, books, and old institutions by showing them the divine truth within us. Tell those critics to be respectful and take off their shoes before entering, because God lives inside us. Our simplicity will be the ultimate judge. When we follow our own rules, everyone will see how poor outside fortune is compared to the wealth within us. Yeah, but nowadays, we've just become a crowd. One person doesn't respect another. Instead of listening to the wisdom inside ourselves, we go around asking others for a little help. We need to learn to walk alone. I actually prefer the silence before a sermon starts in church. When people sit quietly with themselves, they seem so genuine. We should always be like that. Just because someone is our friend, wife, father, or child, it doesn't mean we need to point out their mistakes. Being related by blood doesn't mean I have to put up with their foolishness. Should I take it for myself or be ashamed of it? But your loneliness shouldn't just be for show. It should for the growth of your mind. Sometimes it feels like the whole world is conspiring to bother you over little things. Friends, clients, kids, illness, fear, and charity. They all come knocking at your door at once, telling you to come out and listen to them. But you stay firm where you are. Don't get caught up in their chaos. People can only trouble us if we let them, because of our own weaknesses. No one can get close to me without my permission. The ones we truly love are right here with us. But chasing after useless desires, we end up losing that love too. If we can't fully trust and listen to God right now, at least we should fight the wrong greed inside us. Let's get ready for a battle and awaken the courage and strength within our minds. Even when everything seems fine, we can start by just speaking the truth. This fake respect, false hospitality, and shui kind of love, it's time to stop all that. Stop living to meet the expectations of those who are themselves lost and misleading others. Tell them straight up, mom, dad, wife, brother, and friend, that until now, I've only been with you in the old way just to show the world. But from now on, I'll stand only for the truth. Let everyone know that from now on, I won't follow any petty laws of the world, but the biggest, strongest law of nature. I will serve me parents, fully support my family, and stay true to my wife. Music, but I'll do all this in my own new way. I will. I'm done following old customs. I've got to live my life my way. I can't keep killing my own feelings just to make others happy. If you can love me for who I really am, we'll all be much happier. But if y'all can't, I'll still stick to my truth music so that one day you'll appreciate me. I won't hide what I like or dislike from anyone. I truly believe that what's deep in my heart is the purest thing. I'll put my full energy into doing only those things that bring real joy to my heart. If you're a good and kind person, I'll love you a lot. But if you're not, I won't pretend or give you or myself any false comfort. If you're genuine but your mindset is different from mine, then you stay with your own people and I'll find my own. I'm saying this not out of pride, but with simplicity and honesty. No matter how long we've lived in lies, living in truth is what's best for you, me, and all of us. Does this sound a bit harsh to hear? Don't worry. Soon enough, you'll see. We'll start liking what your nature and mine actually want from us. If you stick to the path of truth in theme, we'll come out safe and sound. Yeah, it might hurt your friends a little, but I can't trade my freedom and strength just to protect their feelings. Anyway, everyone reaches that moment in life when they see the real truth. Then they'll agree with me and do exactly what I'm doing now. People think that if you don't follow the paths made by the world, you break all the rules. Not everyone believes that. Some clever and bad people take advantage of this and try to cover up their wrongdoings by calling it a new way of thinking or a new philosophy. But the voice inside your heart, your conscience, is always with you and it knows the truth. There are two ways to take responsibility for your life. One way is to see whether your parents, neighbors, or even your pet dog or cat are happy with you or not. But there's also a deeper way, answering only to yourself. I have some very strict rules in me own thinking about what the world calls responsibility. I might not think they're really necessary, but if I honestly follow the rules I've made for myself, then I don't need the old laws and rules made by the world. If someone thinks my rules are too simple, they should just try living by them for a day. They'll realize how hard it actually is. The truth is, anyone who has the courage to ignore the world's show-off and greed and just trust themselves must have a godlike strength. Their heart has to be big and their thinking absolutely clear so that he can create his own society and his own laws. If you look at today's society, at today's people, you'll realize how much we need this kind of mindset. People nowadays have lost their courage and heart. We've become really scared and just keep crying all the time. We're afraid of the truth, afraid of fate, afraid of death, and even afraid of each other. These days, you barely see anyone who's truly strong or genuine. We need men and women who can teach us a new way to live life. But what we see is that most people, inside, they feel empty. They can't meet their own needs and keep begging others day and night. The way we run our home, our jobs, our marriages, even our religion, none of it is really our own choice. Society has already decided all that for us. We're just soldiers sitting at home, talking big about bravery. We run away from life's real challenges, even though real strength comes from facing those struggles head-on. When our young men fail at their first job, they completely lose hope. If a young businessman, if someone can't find a job, people say he's ruined. If a really smart guy finishes college but doesn't get a good job in a big city within a year, he and his friends feel like all that's left is to be sad and complain about life. But just look at that brave guy who tries every kind of work. Sometimes he carries stuff. Sometimes he farms. Sometimes he sells things in the streets. Sometimes he runs a school. And sometimes he works for a newspaper. He's like a cat. You can throw him any way you want, but he always lands on his feet. A guy like that is 100 times better than those city mannequins. He moves with the times and isn't ashamed that he didn't learn some big profession, because he doesn't put his life on hold for tomorrow. He's living it today. He doesn't have just one chance, but hundreds. We need to tell people that they're not weak trees that bend easily. They can make themselves unique and strong. When a person starts believing in themselves, new strengths are born within. Humans are here on this earth to ease the world's sufferings. We're born for a purpose. We shouldn't have to live off other people's pity or sympathy. The moment someone starts working on their own, throws out old rules, bookish ideas, and useless customs, we don't feel sorry for them anymore. Instead, we start respecting them. A person who touches this will bring new life and brightness into people's lives, and their name will be remembered forever in history. It's clear that if we just build confidence in ourselves, everything about a person will change, whether it's religion, education, work, lifestyle, or how they relate to others. Whether it's about connecting with someone, money, or the way you think, people pray to God in all sorts of ways. What they think is a good prayer isn't really brave. When people pray, they look outward, asking for some help from outside. If you're just praying for some small favor or personal gain, that's wrong. True prayer is about seeing life from the highest perspective. It's a conversation between a happy soul and itself. But if you use prayer just to fulfill your selfish desires, then this kind of thinking is narrow-minded and like stealing. The moment a person truly connects with God, they stop begging. Then every action starts to feel like a prayer. For example, the farmer working hard in his field and the man rowing a boat, their work itself is their real prayer. Someone rightly said that true meaning of God is hidden in our efforts, and our courage is our greatest God. There's another kind of wrong prayer too. Feeling sad or regretful about past things and having a restless mind shows that you don't trust yourself. That's a weakness of the mind. If you can truly help someone in trouble, then definitely do it. If not, just focus on your own work. That's how bad things will start to decrease. Our sympathy is often pretty weak. We just sit with people who are crying and end up crying with them. But what we really need to do is tell them the harsh truth so their mind can get back on track. The secret to luck lies in your own hard work and happiness. A person who helps themselves is welcomed everywhere. For them, all the doors in the world open up and everyone respects them. We love such people because he didn't need anyone's support. Even God loves him because he didn't care about the world and kept walking his own path. When a person doesn't give up, God rushes to help them too. Just like people's prayers show their inner weaknesses, their strict religions and rules are like mental illnesses. They're like those old folks who were so scared that if God spoke to them directly, they'd die. Soth'd say, "We're afraid. Please talk to us yourself or send someone else. We'll just listen to them." Nowadays, wherever I go, I don't see people recognizing God within themselves. Why? Because Ivrion has shut the doors to the temple in their own hearts. Instead of discovering their own truth, they just keep repeating old stories about other people's gods. Whenever a really sharp mind comes along, they create a new way of understanding things. People start following them, and a whole new system gets built. Folks get so caught up in that new way of thinking that they believe it's the only truth. Even big religions all started from the ideas of just one person. In the beginning, the learner finds it fun. They feel like they're getting smarter. But after a while, they start treating that very way of thinking like their God. They believe the walls their teacher built are the boundaries of the entire world. They think the stars in the sky are hanging from the roof their teacher made. People like this look at others with suspicion. They wonder how anyone else could have the right to see the truth besides them. They say, "You must have stolen this light from us." What they don't realize is that the light of truth can't be stopped by anyone, not even the smallest barrier. They can reach even a hut. Let them chirp away in their little world. If they're genuine and doing their work right, one day their small circle will start feeling too cramped. The old walls of their thinking will break down and disappear. Then that same immortal light, that eternal glow filled with 1,000 colors and happiness, will shine across the whole world again, just like it did on the very first morning. People don't pay attention to their own growth. That's why they think going to places like Italy, England, or Egypt will change their lives. Those who have made these countries great, and the respected ones stayed firmly in their own place. When our mind is strong, we realize that our work is our true place. Our soul doesn't need to wander anywhere. A wise person stays at home, and even if he has to go out for something important, he remains at heart right there at home. He goes Tony City like a king, not like a servant or an uninvited guest. I have no problem traveling the world, especially if you're going for art or study. But the condition is that outside your life, don't go looking for what you don't already have. A person who just travels for fun is actually running away from themselves. Visiting old places only makes their mind feel as worn out and tired as those ruins. They're just carrying their old problems from one place to another. Trying to find happiness by traveling is a fool's paradise. We sit at home thinking that going on a trip will cure our sadness and show us all kinds of beauty. We pack our bags, hug our friends goodbye, and set off on a journey. But when we get there, we realize it's the same thing. Old sadness and the same old problems have followed us everywhere we try to run away from them. No matter which palace we go to, our sorrow sticks with us like a huge monster. This madness of going out all the time is actually a sign of a deep mental illness. Our way of thinking has become nomadic, and our studies just make us restless. When our body is forced to stay home, our mind wanders outside. We copy others, and this copying is just another way our mind drifts away. Our homes have foreign designs, and our stuff is filled with foreign decorations. Our preferences and ways of thinking always chase after old and distant things. True art is born where the artist's mind is focused. Old artists drew ideas from within themselves. They applied their own thinking to whatever they had to create. So why do we need to copy old designs? Beauty and big ideas are just as close to us as they are to anyone else. If an artist understands the local weather, soil, and people's needs, they'll create a home where everything fits perfectly and suits everyone. You'll find peace. Just stick to being yourself. Never copy anyone else. Your own uniqueness stays with you always, and you've earned it your whole life. But adopting someone else's talent or qualities is just borrowing them for a little while. The thing you do best, only God can teach you. No one knows what you're truly capable of, and you won't know either until you show it to the world. How could have taught Shakespeare, or who taught Newton? Every great person is unique, one of a kind. You can't become Shakespeare just by reading Shakespeare. Just focus on the work you've been given. Then, don't be afraid to do something big. You have just as much courage to speak your mind as the great people did back in the day. Your heart doesn't want to copy others. Just listen to it, and you'll make the world amazing again. Just like our religion, education, and art often copy things from outside, that's also how our society functions. Everyone is happy that people in society are improving, but no one changes themselves. Improvement. The truth is, society never really moves forward. If it gains something on one side, it loses just as much on the other. There are always changes. Sometimes it's wild, sometimes civilized, sometimes rich, sometimes educated. But that doesn't mean it's actually better. Whenever we get something new, we end up losing some old good thing. Society may learn a new skill, but it forgets its old natural qualities and instincts. Just think about it. An American guy who has nice clothes and no show to read and write. One guy has a watch, a pencil, and some money in his pocket. And on the other side, there's this wildman who only has a stick, a spear, and a mat to sleep on. But if you check their health, you'll notice that the city guy has lost his old strength. Animals say that if you hit a wild man with an axe, his wound heals on its own in a day. But the same injury can send a city guy straight to his grave. Everyone's invented cars, but they've forgotten how to use their own feet. They're standing with the help of crutches, but the body's strength has weakened. He's got an expensive watch on his wrist, but he's forgotten how to tell time by looking at the sun. He has all the information in books, but he doesn't know anything about the stars in the sky. He can't even sense changes in the weather. Writing everything done on paper has made his memory weak. Big, thick books have become a burden on his own common sense. With machines taking over, people's own strength has diminished. Nowadays, there's a lot off show, but real courage seems to have disappeared. In the old days, everyone stood firm on what they said. But nowadays, it's really hard to find genuine people. Goodness is measured just like someone's height or build. People today aren't greater than those from the old days. There's something similar between the great folks of the past and the great people of today. Even with modern science, art, or ways of thinking, philosophy included, no one can surpass those gems from thousands of years ago. Humans don't just move forward with time. People like Socrates were truly great, But they didn't leave behind a class anyone could join. The real deal, someone as great as him won't just copy him. He'll create his own new work and build his own identity. All the new machines and inventions of every era are just like fancy clothes on the outside. They don't make a person strong from within. Often, the benefits we get from machines come with just as many drawbacks. Sailors of old did amazing things with their small, simple boats, things that even today's top scientists find incredible. Galileo discovered the secrets of the sky with just a small piece of glass, and people still remember that. Columbus had a tiny. In an open boat, I explored a whole new world. Smart people always come back to what really and truly gives humans their strength. People think that new weapons of war have taught us how to win. But Napoleon conquered all of Europe just because of his real courage. He made his army get rid of all unnecessary stuff. He believed that a good army is one where soldiers grind their own grain and back their own bread, just like people did in old times. Society is like a wave. The wave looks like it's moving forward, but its water doesn't actually go ahead. A drop of the wave moves from the valley to the peak. Nothing really changes. It just stays in the same place. Just like the people who are part of society today will die tomorrow, and all their experience will die with them. Society doesn't move forward. It just keeps changing in the same spot. Trusting property and the governments that protect it actually shows a lack of trust in yourself. For a long time, people have been ignoring themselves and focusing on outside things. They only consider big religions and rules important because they want to protect their wealth. They respect each other based on how much money they have, not anything else. It's about seeing what a person is really like on the inside. But a wise person feels a bit ashamed of their wealth they suddenly get without any hard work, like land inherited from ancestors, a gift, or money earned through dishonest means. They feel that these things aren't truly theirs because they didn't earn them through their own skills. It's just sitting with them until a thief or some big change snatches it away. True and living wealth is what comes from a person's own talent. No king, no crowd, no fire, and no storm can take this power away. It stays with the person every moment. Keep reinventing yourself. Someone said that the happiness meant for you is actually searching for you. So instead of stressing about finding it, just stay calm. We've become so obsessed with outside things that we only see strength in crowds now. People go to huge rallies, and when thousands shout together, a young patriot feels stronger than before. Music, but remember, real strength isn't in the crowd, it's inside you. Similarly, people who want change in society call big meetings and make decisions together in the crowd, yeah. But my friends, truth isn't found that way. God doesn't come to you through the crowd, but in the exact opposite way. When a person stands alone, giving up all outside help, that's when they truly become strong and win. The more people you add to your army, the weaker it gets. Isn't one true person better than a whole city? Don't ask anyone for anything. When the whole world is changing, just stand firm like a strong pillar. Then everyone will lean on you. The one who knows that real strength is theirs. Victory comes from within. We're weak because we look for our well-being in things outside ourselves. The moment someone fully trusts their own mindset and stands firm, they start creating miracles right away. A person standing on their own feet is always stronger than someone standing on their head. Don't gamble with luck. Most people play with the wheel of fortune, sometimes winning, sometimes losing it all. Don't get caught up in that cycle. Instead, focus on your work and its results, which is the real law of God. If you harness the power of your mind, when you achieve something, it's like stopping the wheels of fate, and then you won't have to fear losing anymore. Winning an election, getting more money, someone recovering from illness, or an old friend coming back, these things can make you happy. You might feel like better days are coming, but don't believe that just yet. No one but yourself can truly give you peace.